Peace, people. Peace. Happy Friday. Happy Fly Friday. How are y'all doing? We have another good Fly Friday 15 with Sharon Cuttersmooth, EP Digital, the one and only urban astronaut, Nanko era, New Age nerds, coming once again every Friday to give you a little bit of news on the UAV industry. UAVs, urban air vehicles, eVTOLs, drones, whatever you call it, they all land in what we call the urban air mobility ecosystem industry, whatever, however you like to put it. But there's a lot going on, a whole lot. What's new this week? Well, we're going to be attending Wings Over Houston this week. First time going to Wings Over Houston, but not my first time at an air show. And I hear Wings Over Houston is pretty good, right? Going to have quite a few aircraft. I'm hoping to see demos of new aircraft. But either way, a nice aerospace aircraft event locally in Houston is happening, and we are going to be there. Going to be a vendor showing off our vehicle, not flying, of course. We're not there yet, but our goal and our intentions are there. So we can go ahead and put on that first video roll about Wings Over Houston, a general air show to showcase all kinds of aircraft that's out there. And I was out there this morning. It always amazes me on the latest and greatest technology. There was a fighter jet. I mean, this thing was loud. If you guys have ever heard a fighter jet fly by, like you can feel it. Like it is, it's a lot of pressure. But this fighter jet, which is rumbling the whole place, at one point in time came back around and they said, hey, this is going to be the Whisper Pass. And this thing just flew by on its side. Like it sounds just like a cool breeze. No thunder, no rumbling. So it is possible for these aircraft to fly quietly and not disturb the community. That's a little tidbit on when we go to develop urban air vehicles. One of the community pushbacks is noise pollution. Now, if a fighter jet can fly by quietly, if it wants to, then some urban air vehicles can fly by quietly all the time and not disturb the peace. Yeah, I really look forward to that and showing the kids off, because even I was like, that's awesome. Probably been around for a long time, but the fact that it's possible, it is possible to control the waves and frequencies of the noise being put out by the aircraft. I know that scientifically that's possible, and now I've seen a professional do it. Yes. All right. So with that in mind, moving on to the next section here in terms of what to know when buying flying cars. This week, I was talking a lot about the urban air mobility plan and how it can be implemented into a city like Space City, Houston. And what comes up, well, is crashes and safety. People are worried. I will give a little story. Not a story, because you guys know this story already, but a little background info to it. I'm not sure if you knew, but Kobe Bryant, that helicopter crash, peace be upon all of the passengers who lost their lives in that disaster. A catastrophe it was. And how did it happen? Well, the fog was dense. It was hard to see, and they flew into a mountain. How does that happen? And I understand, because of a pilot, some vehicles are being implemented with certain lasers to, see and maybe sense obstacles, but that's still limited visibility, right? So this, we're in modern times and computers everywhere. How can you fly into a mountain when I can see where a system can be implemented that already has the mountain there, and the vehicle or the helicopter will already know the mountain is there, whether there's fog, rain, snow, sleet, complete darkness, no matter what, the system knows. And that system is what we call flight management systems. So, okay. Um, Flight management systems, a big part that you want to know and need to know when you go to buy your flying car. Flight management systems need to be in place. Now, part of that flight management systems, you may have heard the terms of digital twin. And we, Nanco Aero, Sharon Cuttersmooth, EP Digital, am a advocate of digital twins across the planet and then going on to the universe. What is a digital twin? Well, it's a literal 3D model, not model to scale of the whole city, eventually the whole world, especially for rigid, fixed structures, buildings, towers, houses, electrical lines, windmills, everything that is physical and solid and does not move can be scanned, measured, and put into a 3D, virtual reality system. So that when your vehicle flies, you can overlay that digital twin over the real life, and the vehicle would know where everything is. No need to sense this building. I don't need a sensor to know where that building's at. GPS is already there. Match it to the system, and the system would know exactly where you are in comparison to the rest of the structures that are around. Now, it takes away like 90% of the things a automated vehicle will need to sense or measure. For example, I've heard a lot of complaints about electric vehicles or the driverless vehicles on the road. If you've ever ridden in one, I have not. Well, I lie. It was a trade show. We got a little test drive. It was just a little circle in a parking lot. Whoop-de-doo. But in real life, real case, it's jerky. The car will slam on its brakes every time it sensed this little object over here, because it takes a lot of processing power of, hey, scanning everything around you. You don't know anything as a computer, right? There's nothing you know. So you're scanning everything and taking it all in, right? Doing the calculations, and it's programmed to be as safe as possible, right? So it's jerky. It's not a smooth ride, right? So there's a lot of obstacles, obviously. What I do know, in the air, there's a lot less obstacles. But what is more important, it takes less strain off the computer processing to have all of those concrete obstacles already mapped inside the computer so that it knows where everything is, and it could maneuver a whole lot easier. Now, that is a flight management system. They don't exist yet. Not for urban air vehicles. There's a lot of ideas and concepts, just like the vehicles. These systems are still in the concept phase, maybe in the gaming phase. Similar to Nanco Aero, we have our simulator, which is the beginnings of our flight management systems. Like you see here, pictured an example of somebody's flight management system, in which it will line out a corridor. When we say we're going to get you into your own lane, well, essentially that's what this looks like. It's a corridor, a channel, a canal in the sky that you would follow to your destination. The computer knows that whole realm. It knows all the obstacles there. It knows where all the other vehicles would be, right? Any other obstructions or dangers like the weather, all of that will be presented to you right here on your screen. Now, maybe leaving it for next time. Well, how will the pilot receive this information? Is it just on a dashboard? Because there's a lot coming in. How will somebody follow along? Another side note, GIS, Geographic Information Systems, plays a big part, huge part, as 90% of it. People have been in industry measuring these things for a long time now, since the 80s, right? They just been measuring for just in case in the future this information would be usable on a mass market scale. Of course, right now, a lot of people use it for city planning, where to put stuff. Yeah, that's good. That's the beginnings. But now there will come an overall system that absolutely needs that whole system in order for it to do what it does. Now, the beginnings of that, of course, is in simulators. Microsoft Flight Simulator is the top simulator right now. You can see it has a lot of these GIS systems inside. A lot of these cities have already been measured, mapped out in high definition. If you can see, these cities are real. These environments are real, and they pretty much have majority of it now. There's a few, not quite a few more cities to put inside the system, but you can see these things are here and they're coming, and how they will be utilized in the system or industry of urban air mobility. All right. I can't wait to put the Ether Rider inside the flight simulator. There's a few other ecosystem partners that are going to be inside as well. We look forward to that presentation, or at least that demo, right? There's a way to do it. So Nanco Aero's flight simulator, urban air mobility flight management system in the works. Look out for it. Now, next on Who is Flying Now? Well, there are, just give an example of a flight management software developer. I believe the name of the company is Invention. Invention. They are a flight management software for drones, because drones are essentially the babies, the beginners to the industry of urban air mobility. They're getting this stuff first. They're in the airspace first. Helicopters are there, but that's an entirely different animal and system. And hey, it's archaic, if you ask me. No disrespect, but in this new century, we could do better. Invention has come up with a flight management software that that for the most part gets everything I just discussed, right? So it is something to manage, especially for autopilot. And autopilot is a crucial part or segment to these industries to come. People don't want humans. If humans can't drive on the road, a lot of people think that humans will not be able to fly these flying cars. It'll be even worse. So autopilot is a very big part of it. In introducing autopilot very well can aid the whole industry, but there's a lot that has to go into the autopilot system. Obviously, the flight management system for one, the GIS systems too, helping see how here it has to measure in front of it, but it should already know that, right? In order to do collision avoidance, right? You can see one vehicle passing another, so always knowing where another vehicle is. So Invention, they have a product. Just give you an example of who is out there developing. Check them out and look forward to us bringing about, or at least bringing about our own, or potentially utilizing what is already out there. Now, what is next with everybody? So looking on the news networks, there's a few companies out there that are doing a few things. One of them being Sentient Blue. I see a lot of successful companies with a lot of good technologies, but these good technologies are going into drones first. Of course, because drones are going to be in the sky well before urban air vehicles, and they are getting these very nice systems. Sentient Blue is one of them. They were presented, and I like how they were using the turbofan technology on their propulsion systems, on their rotorcraft. So it's a drone with turbo propellers, and these turbo propellers look a bit different than others. So here is the, if you're looking at a jumbo jet propulsion systems even that technology being taken to the next level in terms of technology, but being applied to an aircraft much, much smaller, smarter, and better. That's what's next. And I'm excited on that. Like the big technologies are now being condensed and compact and made better into smaller systems, making quality of life and these new cool drones and flying cars in the future a whole lot better and a whole lot more possible. So look out for more drones with high level technologies, making it possible for everything that I'm talking urban air mobility to come about. And that's what we have today. Look out for us next week to give you some more updates on things new in the industry and some needed tidbits on what you need to know when dealing with urban air mobility, flying cars or drones. We consider them the same. And we are continuing to develop our urban air vehicle. Look out for the Ether Rider. We are working on it flying soon. We're working on propellers, so we got some custom propellers coming up soon. So look out for that. And that is it. So happy Friday. Peace be upon you all. Shern, Cutter Smooth, EP Digital, Nanco Aero, Flying Cars for All. We are the future of space in the making.